Hello listeners, Jordan here. I just want to let you know that you can listen to Nighttime early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
This episode of Nighttime discusses sexual exploitation of children. Listener discretion is advised.
You are tuned to the Nighttime Podcast, focused on the fringe of Canada.
Hello listeners. Before we begin, let me send my best wishes to all of you. 2020 has been a very difficult and complicated year for many people, myself included. Hopefully, with this year in our rear-view mirror, everything's about to start improving. So, from me to you, I wish everyone listening nothing but health and happiness in 2021 and beyond. And now, to introduce our episode. Tonight, Nighttime is going to take you to a very dark place. Well, I suppose it's not fair to call it a specific place per se, as it's everywhere. It's all around us. Whatever city or town you're listening from right now, there's probably someone sitting behind a keyboard or holding a phone to their face with some very dark intent. Rather than looking at memes or playing Candy Crush, they're seeking out an opportunity to sexually exploit underage children. Now, in the 80s, where I grew up, we were always cautioned to not take candy from strangers. But today, it's far more complicated than that. These predators quite literally are lurking in shadow, hiding behind fake names and fake profile pictures, and using many of the same social media sites that our children use. And thanks to the connected nature of our modern lives, the shadows they're lurking in extend right into our homes, likely even into our kids' bedrooms. Of course, the police and various law enforcement agencies are hot on their heels, but it's painfully similar to a deranged version of that whack-a-mole game. And not only that, the crime starts off quite vague, with long periods of grooming before the legal lines are obviously crossed. And perhaps that's why law enforcement seems more reactive than proactive in cases that involve child predators. And reactives generally if they even do anything at all. Now, it may sound like I'm throwing shade with that comment, but I challenge you to find a case of child sexual exploitation where the police and the courts knocked it out of the park. And maybe that's why the guests on this episode have such a supportive following. Toronto, Ontario is a very big city, just under 3 million people in fact. And as it turns out, a bunch of them are online approaching children with criminal intent. But thankfully for the parents of Toronto, their dark fantasies are a little further out of reach thanks to a vigilante group called the Toronto Predator Poachers. Using fake online accounts and elaborate decoy work, this group helps pull Toronto's child sex predators out of the shadows and puts them into the light. The predator, who expects to be meeting with a child, instead comes face to face with an over 6 foot tall, 200 plus pound man who's holding a camera. And he's not there to arrest them or harm them physically, but what he does do is make them call their wives or parents to admit what they're up to. And if that call wasn't bad enough, he also posts the videos of the whole thing online and then goes on to report them to the police. So yeah, it gets quite intense. So now that you know what you're in store for, let's jump into it. Tonight, in this episode of Nighttime, we're going to be joined by the group's catcher named Matt and the decoy, Soph. And our topic is the many catches of the Toronto Predator Poachers. Matt and Soph, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to talk to you both.
Hey, what's going on, Jordan? Excited to talk to you too, buddy. What's happening?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. Although, I'll be honest, I'm a bit nervous. Matt is probably the most authoritative voice that will have been on the show in, 150 episodes of doing this. I was actually I was laying in bed last night watching your second to most latest video, and just even the tone of your voice and the way you're able to kind of take control of a situation. It's intense. I would not want to get on your bad side.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, I'm a pretty nice guy, but when it really comes down to business, you know what I mean? We got to do what we got to do,
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into this, like, I didn't know what you do and kind of the genre of content that you create. I didn't even know that existed until very recently. I was doing an episode of my show about a young woman in my hometown here in Halifax who was the victim of sexual assault, in a vigilante group kind of assisted her family in exposing the people responsible. And that kind of set me down this path of reading about different sort of groups that are involved in this sort of thing in different ways. I then stumbled upon your YouTube page and the videos that you make, and I've just been hooked ever since. I'm amazed that it exists. And it's fascinating to watch, but it's also very dark given what you get into. But before we start talking too much, for people out there who don't know who you are or what you're doing, why don't you just explain, what it is you're doing online, and then I'll play a little clip so they can get a taste of it. But why don't you explain in your own words what the Toronto Predator Poachers are doing?
All right. Well, first of all, Jordan, thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate that. Hello, everybody. My name is Matt, and I run the YouTube channel called Predator Poachers Toronto. And basically what we do is we like to consider ourselves a vigilante justice-style undercover sting operation that catches child predators. And what we do is we record each and every single one of our encounters with said child predators, and we post it online on YouTube to create awareness, since there is no public sex offender registry in Canada or in Toronto, and to make create awareness within the whatever area or city that we do it in, GTA surrounding area and so on and so forth. So that's basically what we do.
Yeah, and as far as the videos, you didn't really explain like how the videos go down. And to save you from explaining it, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna call this a sizzle reel, where what it is it's like a 2-minute clip showing a very condensed version of what you do in your videos. And I as much as I enjoy it, I still have a hard time watching it. I watch your episodes or videos like I put my hands over my face and peek between my fingers. That's some of the most uncomfortable stuff. But I'm going to play a little clip here to give people a sense of what you're doing, and then we're going to talk about how this goes down.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
I just come to meet a friend.
How old is this friend?
As far as I know, 13 or 14.
13 or 14. You're shaking in your voice. Why are you shaking for? You're nervous.
I mean...
Why are you nervous?
I've never had this happen to me before.
What have you not had happen to you before?
Because I've never done this before.
Done what before?
Done what you're trying to tell me that...
No, what have you not ever done before?
I met someone.
You mean met somebody? You never met somebody in your entire life? You suggested we can only do kissing unless you have something else you want to do.
I have no intentions of doing that because...
Well, you said it. It's right here.
I understand.
You were talking to me the whole time.
Okay, that's okay.
No, it's not okay.
No, okay. Hear me out.
Okay, let's
I
hear it.
had no intention of kissing her because she... Well, I mean, obviously it's you now.
Mm-hmm.
The suggestion was made.
I didn't make the suggestion, you did. I was talking to you the whole time. And what's this? I want to see how soft your lips are. LOL. If and when we kiss.
That's just talk.
Well, okay, so are you just going to talk to a 13-year-old girl like that?
Okay, here's my question.
Okay, what's your question?
You're
going to ask me the question? Okay, let me hear the question.
If I meet some child or 13 or 14-year-old person on the road, I can't speak to them?
Call your wife right now and tell her you're not going to be making it.
Hey, hon.
Hello? What happened?
I'm being accused of sexual child...
He's not being accused, he's guilty.
Oh, that's what they're saying.
Who?
Me.
Where? How?
Online, on Instagram.
What happened?
It's a long story, huh?
Let me explain it to her.
He's going to tell you some things that are probably aren't true.
They are true. Let me explain it to her.
They're assuming a lot of
I am not assuming nothing.
No, you
okay?
are.
Let
You
me.
are.
Okay?
May I know who are you?
Okay.
My
put this
wife
here.
wants to know who you are.
Hi, my name is Matthew D'Souza.
Yes.
I'm a part of an organization that catches child predators. Okay? So your husband was online for the past 3 months, maybe even more, for the past 3 months, talking to a child and wanting to initiate sexual activity, starting with kissing. Okay?
Kissing.
Yes, I have chat logs. I have video calls with him with his face.
Okay. He's in a police station right now?
He's not at a police station. He's at the Walmart. He came to Walmart in Milton to meet with this child, but instead he met with me, obviously. Right? So,
So my husband there is in Walmart right now?
he's in Walmart in Milton.
To meet this kid.
Yes, that's correct.
So he's in Walmart right now to meet this kid.
That's correct.
Where are you right now?
At the Walmart
Walmart of what?
in Milton.
What the fuck are you doing in Milton Walmart?
I left early to come and get you, and then I
Yes.
just stopped here for a few minutes.
And
We'll talk later, okay?
I don't. You know what? Don't pick me up. Don't pick me up. I will come home. Just give me some time to breathe.
It's not like it is, hon. It's not like it is. It's not like it is, they're claiming.
And then what are you doing there in Milton? Walmart?
I'll explain it to you later,
Okay.
okay?
Well, that was something. I've watched that clip of you talking to that fella probably maybe 5 to 10 times when I was editing that and preparing for this, and even now just watching it again, even after putting that together, it still is shocking that you get yourself into this. So Matt, we won't talk specifically about that video, but I just want to know just some basics about the group and about you and Soph, because it's Toronto Predator Poachers. It's really just the two of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And why don't you just we're going to protect your privacy, given what you do. We don't want anyone knowing anything about you, but tell me a little bit, just some general stuff about who you are.
So basically, again, my name is Matt. I am from the Toronto area. I am in my mid to late 20s. And about the channel, basically, and about the group, yes, it is Soph and I. It started out with another gentleman and Soph, right around, I think, last year, January, February time. I joined on in May. When the original catcher's name was Nate, he needed a hand. And basically, I joined on because, I do have a passion for what we do. And I am focused on the, on the task at hand and creating awareness for these type of huge issues that's going on out there in the world. Basically we're just myself and Soph now, but we're two very, very passionate individuals that really, really care about our community and children in it.
A little bit about you, Soph, if just something general like that, if you could.
Yeah, so my name's Soph. I'm in my 20s, from Toronto. I got started back in the channel, like Matt said, back when Nate, our old catcher, was still doing this. That was back in February when we had about 5K subscribers. At first, I just started with mainly just sending pictures and like phone calls maybe, but we kind of realized that me and Nate, we had very similar ideas and we worked well together. So I started doing like the decoy work. I started chatting with the predators, and I just got on with the channel, and now I do the decoy work and I do the editing, and it's just me and Matt now. So we're a 2-people team. And we work well together too, so that's great.
When you say the decoy work, so if you find some predator online, so if you will get on phone calls with this person, or do you mean decoy as in you're the one typing and communicating with them before the meetup?
Yeah, so I actually do basically everything. So we Photoshop my pictures to make myself look younger. We put that on like a dating app or a meeting app or whatever, and they reach out to us, and I do the texting, I do the calls, I do video chats, anything to kind of make it seem more real for them so that we can catch these people eventually.
That must get pretty pretty disturbing. Now, one thing I'm wondering about is how you actually find these people. Like it seems, based on watching the videos, it seems like you just got an account on Instagram or something, and these people just come to you.
Yeah, so we post the clearly underaged photo on like a dating app or like a meeting site or whatever it may be. We have different ways of doing it, but they will reach out to us and immediately we let them know that we're either, anywhere from, a minor basically, and they can choose if they want to continue talking to us or not. And then we get them off the app to, chat on Instagram or text or any social media really. But yes, we do have a couple different accounts.
And then eventually when you spend a while talking to them, and they're ready to really, really cross the line by meeting up in person, and that's when Matt comes in. And rather than meeting up with a 12, 13, or 14-year-old girl, they meet up with someone who I've never seen you in person, Matt, or seen a photo or anything, but I'm guessing you go into these situations, which I would be terrified to go into. You must be able to defend yourself. Like, what is it that makes you comfortable meeting up with these people in what's probably one of their worst moments in their life?
Yeah, you know what? It is a pretty it's a disturbing situation to walk into. But yeah, I mean, I just focus on the task at hand. It's basically just, I'm there. There, because the thing is if they're meeting up with me, they're actually the ones that are scared at this point. So I mean, yes, I know at the same time I have to watch out for myself as well. But when the encounter starts, they're initially in so much shock. And that's when, you hit them with the questions and you know what I mean? The initial, what are you doing here? Do you know what's going on here? I'm a part of an undercover sting operation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're just in complete, what the heck, and you hear the most silliest things fly out of their mouth. But I mean, just doing it, it's just, I just remember the task and I remember that this could be a potential child. And I guess that's what you could say, the bravery behind it. And I know that I'm doing this for a purpose, and that's what gets me up. That's what gets me out the door. That's what gets me to the meeting location and to, interrogate them and to expose them and to make them think, about twice about what they're doing and actually, make them learn their lesson. You know what I mean? And I mean, if it happens, they're done. They're caught. As I would usually say, you're done, bud. So, yeah. That's what that is.
That moment, like the moment where you first approach them and confront them and ask them a question to get their attention, that's always one of my favorite parts of the videos. You put up a video today where it was a guy who he had like a foot fetish with, yes, and was asking this really young girl, I think a 13-year-old girl, about wanted to rub her feet and all this stuff. And
yeah,
you approached him in what looks to be like kind of like a shopping mall, and you approached him and asked, "Where's the foot store?"
Yeah. Excuse me. Do you know where I can get the foot store?
The what?
The foot store.
Foot store?
The foot store. You know where I can get the foot store?
No.
You don't know? You're the foot guy, right?
What do you mean the foot guy?
You're the foot guy. Harm, right?
No, I'm not.
It is you. You just got caught by a sting operation. Did you know that? Bro, you told me you were wearing a blue jacket.
I didn't do anything, bro. I didn't do anything wrong.
So you think, wanted to kiss a 13-year-old girl's feet, or what you thought was a 13-year-old girl's feet? You think that's not wrong? You know you were talking to me the whole time, right?
Honestly, it really, honest to God, like, I just want to let everybody know, I take my job very, very seriously. It's what we do is no fun and jokes, but at the very same time, you just kind of want to, sometimes you just kind of want to ask them these off questions just to like make them think, what the heck? And to make them know that, oh my gosh, like, what are you really saying right now? You know what I mean? And that's the mall that we met. It's a mall called Square One, located in Mississauga, Ontario. Mm-hmm. And it's actually one of the busiest, one of the biggest, one of the most amazing malls in all of GTA. So, and yeah, it was after hours. That's a thing, that he was willing to meet a child after hours in a mall that was closed, for, sexual activity and for what he likes as a foot fetish with a child, which I think was pretty disgusting. But yeah, that was just one of the things. It was sometimes if you have like something witty, you just kind of throw it out there. But then you got to get down to business. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I get that. And it seems to me, like when I watch the videos, it seems like you're alone confronting these people. Like like holding your phone in their face pretty much. Like what do you do to defend or to protect yourself? Like, are you not worried about that?
Sometimes there are people around, but they're not seen. And sometimes I am by myself. Yes, that's correct. Again, I go up and I do this again. I just have the whole, my thing is, and a lot of people say like, my team is like, Soph is like, oh my gosh, like, Matt, you gotta like be careful, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like, no, I got this. Like, I mean, I am aware of my surroundings. I'm aware, like I'm ready, like, to defend myself, like maybe knock something out of the guy's hand. And that's why I always say hands out of your pockets. You know what I mean? Like, just because you never know if they have something on them. And their hands are always in their pockets. So, that's one thing that protects me, but I'm multitasking when I'm doing this. I'm looking down and like, obviously you guys don't see this, but I'm looking down at their pockets, their hands, what they may look like they have on them, while confronting them and interrogating them about what they're doing there. Always on high alert all the time.
Yeah. All the time. And I've heard you even say to people, don't try anything. If I can defend myself if I need to. Like, do you have a background in like martial arts or something? Or are you just a huge guy? Like I'm just trying to picture doing this. Even if I brought all my friends with me and we're in the middle of a public place, I still wouldn't have the guts to do it because somebody could just, smack me and I'd be done. I have a feeling you're a lot bigger than I am.
Yeah, I am. I'm well over 6'2", over 200 pounds. I train 6 days a week. Okay. And I mean, there's that. There's a bit of both. You know what I mean? Like I've taken self-defense before. I mean, I haven't had any bad experiences, to be honest with you. And it really has to depend on like what it is. If there's a weapon, you got to do what you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? If there's a weapon present, you got to do what you got to do. You got to defend yourself. If someone's just going to come at you with like a little bit of a pat, like, a tap on your shoulder or whatever on your hand, it's okay, whatever. I'm gonna, I won't do anything at that point. I'll just be like, whatever. Yeah, try your little, your little slaps or taps in my hand. I don't really care. But if you're gonna get really, really serious, then it's time to get physical and defend yourself.
I like when they try to run from you, because I get an idea of how good shape you're in when they try to run away, and you can almost see the predator just peek over their shoulder, be like, oh shit, like he's running with me.
Yeah. They don't expect that.
Yeah. So you just said there you've never found yourself in trouble. Like, has there ever been like a scary situation or a close call? Like, how scary has it gotten at this point, or has it even?
To be honest with you, I will say to you again, like I never have been scared. I'm not scared when I do this. If you want to say scary, it's going to be in a different aspect. And what's scary to me is what they're doing. That's what they're showing up to do is what's scary, to be honest with you. Other than that, like me coming to meet up with them, I'll tell you right off the bat, I am never scared. 110%, never scared. Like I've done meetups at night. I've done meetups during the day. In secluded areas, I'm never scared.
You may have done some in secluded areas, but it's usually pretty public. Like often it's Walmart. What's the deal with that? Why are you always in, like, you'll be in the toy section at Walmart or the sporting goods section? Is that you recommending that, or do predators just want to get kids in Walmarts?
Sometimes the predator will want to, meet up somewhere. Their whole ideal thing is to, obviously they want to go, and they want to go somewhere discreet, but you got to keep in mind they're talking to a 13-year-old at the same time. So we got to make it obviously believable that, yeah, you're speaking to a child. Child's just gonna jump in your car right away. But the child would we'd say, well, if you want to meet somewhere, I'm scared. You want to meet inside a store first, et cetera, just so I can see you. And then we can go off after, I guess, you know what I mean? So it's more so geared towards the season as well. So, if it's like really, really cold outside, we'll definitely do it indoors. But if it comes to it being outside, I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah, and it's doing it in a spot like Walmart. It seems to really serve you well anyway, because they when you initially confront them, they generally don't want to talk and they just want to get out of there. But you're so quick to make a scene that it seems like they're willing to talk just so you're not so you shut up about me meeting a 13-year-old girl here or something. It's often they're it seems like the ones you do in like a Walmart, they're really quick to be like, all right, buddy, just calm down, and I'll do my best to dishonestly answer the questions you have, because I
dishonestly, yes,
very rarely do they come out and say it, but it's like, and really that's what the video is like. It's you confront them, that's the first minute or two, then for about 25 minutes you beat them over the head with like the evidence, like, I'm holding the logs, there was no little girl, it was me talking to you, why did you do it? And it's, I just wanted to be friends. No, you said kiss and marry.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. It does work. It really works well because it puts them in that setting where there's, and there's been several times where, obviously you guys don't see it, but there is a crowd over my back sometimes. You know what I mean? There's a few people, whether it be store employees or bystanders or, store managers and stuff like that. They're there. But it works. I mean, we try to be brutally honest. We try to, we gear towards the season, gear towards the situation at hand. If it's cold outside, or again, according to the child, I'm not just going to get in your car and just leave with you. We have to meet somewhere, like indoors, and obviously, a child is going to be at a store, like, I can go to Walmart or whatever, right? So it works that way, and on top of that too, it gives it a good meeting place. They drive there, you're able to get their license plate. You walk outside, they have the walk of shame. There's people around them. You know what I mean? It's perfect setting.
That's another great moment in the video, is when you walk them out to their car, yell their license plate, you tell them off as they drive away.
You're an electrician, you're a grown man, you got things, you live on your own. Do you think you need something like this in your life right now?
No.
Huh?
No.
This is not good. You can get out of here. I'm gonna be following you right to your car, and I'm making sure I'm gonna record you until you leave, okay?
I should have asked this earlier on, but what I'm curious about is, like, I get that you care for your community, you care for the children in your community, but what was the original catalyst that made you think, like, not only am I going to care about my community and the children, I'm going to expose predators, on YouTube? Like, what started this?
Yeah, so there was several factors for myself, actually. So when I was a child, I went to elementary school, and I remember when I first heard about a child predator, I was 5 years old. And junior, senior kindergarten, and they had the school, like, whenever there was a pedophile on the loose, they would actually post their picture on the school doors and say, beware of an individual that looks like this. And the teachers would talk to us and create that awareness. And I was actually really scared. Like, as a kid, I was really scared. I was scared to go to school. I was scared to be outside. Because it was very weird. I lived in a very nice area as well at the time, and having that happen in that area that we lived in, it was something to be highly, highly aware of, and we were just all very scared. So that was one. So I knew what it felt like, and all throughout my life, I knew that that's unmoral, and that's even an understatement of what child predators do. And now I'm a lot older, and I actually have two nieces. And since the day my niece was first born, I gained this protectiveness over her, and as well as my other niece, and that's the one thing too. Like, I'm always like, I just don't want to let her bother. I just want her to be safe, and I'm always going to look out for her as if she's my own daughter, right? And on top of that, like, I've obviously grown up watching Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator. And then came to Predator Poachers Toronto, and I never thought that, or I became part of the crew, that something like this would be actually happening near a place where I live, and to be a part of this movement would be such a blessing.
Tell me about your first catch. So you decide to do this. What was tell me about the process of the first one you were involved in, Matt?
The first catch. Wow. Okay, so I remember that. The first catch, actually very funny. I wasn't even supposed to do that because, long story short, just a little bit of a background. When I first joined PPT, I actually didn't join with the full intention of being somebody who was going to be confronting, like fully taking over the channel. I was actually going to join in with the intention of being like a bodyguard type of thing, protecting whoever's going to be catching these individuals and just being that security hand there if anything gets ever out of hand. And what had happened was the individual who was responsible for catching that person that day, last minute, did not show up. And that's when I stepped in. And said, all right, let's do this. And, I was full of adrenaline. I drove to the scene an hour beforehand to get prepared to go about the scene and, look at everything and look at the ins and outs. Like, it was at a park actually, in Toronto. And, I was just scoping out the scene. I just wanted to make sure the ins and outs, and I wanted to make sure this was going to work because this is my first go at this. And yeah, sure enough, the Predator showed up. I was in my vehicle, crouched down, like underneath the steering wheel and like kind of peeking, like, like a private investigator would or like a detective would, peeking and watching him walk out, watching him. And I'm this time I'm communicating with Soph on the phone, right? Like we're just, I'm like, okay, he's walking here right now, this and that. And then I'm like, all right, time to go. Let's go. And I just got out the car and I ran up to the, it was a gazebo and he was on one side of the gazebo and I was going on the other side. And then boom, we met right in front of each other. And I basically just addressed him by his name and he looked up at me like completely shook. And was like, his name was Neil. And I'm like, Neil. And then he's just like, my name's not Neil. And I'm like, it is Neil. Come here. You're seeing 13 over professional activity. And then he just booked it. He was running. I ran right after him, got into his green Honda Civic and, called out the plate number. And literally this man sped off, literally almost hit the curb, went into a street he wasn't supposed to turn into, came back out, almost hit the curb. And like, I was far away from him. I'm like, buddy, it's not like I'm chasing you with like 5 cop cars or something like that. He was gone. He was so shook. And I just stood there and I felt that adrenaline. And I said, wow, he knew he did something wrong and he's aware now. He better not try this again. And that's when I said, I need to do this. So that was my first catch. It was literally like a minute and a half.
Wow. When you look back, because you've done a bunch of them now, what do you see as like your most memorable or some of your more memorable catches? Like what are the ones that really stood out to you as being, really extreme in any specific way?
Oh man, there is so many. But the most memorable one, in terms of how disturbing it was, leading up to even catching him was it was a guy named James. He was from Hamilton, and that gentleman was very, very out of line. I don't want to get into detail, but that to me was a very memorable one because he was a hard one to catch. He was constantly making plans and canceling, and I was stressing day in and day out about like, we really need to catch this guy. Like, if he really doesn't, if he leaves us, blocks or whatever, we have to, obviously we're going to report him. But I really want to be able to go up to him and confront him and talk to him about what is really going on through his mind and play back the video calls to him in front of his face and find out what's going on there. If someone he actually has children too. And it was a very, very bad situation. So that one, I remember he came, he left, I got him on video call after our phone call, whatever it was. And he was losing himself driving, and I had to try to calm him down. And then it's in the video. It's I'll have to send it to you after. But
yeah, I know the one. He when you confronted him, he took off, but then he called you, and so you have kind of like the FaceTime of him just flipping out.
You started this. I was gonna tell her no. I wanted her to stop. I was drunk when I sent those pictures. I got so much going on. I don't need this.
If you don't need it, then why are you doing it?
I was gonna tell her no! I wanted to tell person!
You told her 50 million times that you want her. So many times. Huh?
I was drunk when I was doing stupid...
Why are you here then? Huh? Why'd you come? Are you drunk right now?
Dude, I was gonna come in there in person and talk to her and tell her no.
Oh, so you came all the way from Hamilton to come and tell her no? You came to assault a minor. That's what you came to do.
No, she asked
Oh, so it's a 13-year-old's fault now, right?
Soph, I don't know, Soph, if you want to tell him a little bit about that one, because you spent a lot of time with him.
He was so hard to catch, but the thing with him is he was, like, for me as, like, an adult, like, a fully grown woman, like, some of the things that James said, and we do have those chat logs on our second channel, where we do post, like, some video calls and stuff like that. That's PB Toronto Extras. Yeah. But we do have some of his chats on there, and they were really disturbing, even for me to read that as a grown adult. And I would have to be on video call with James every other night and just listen to these disgusting things that he would want to do to a child. And it was just, it definitely took, that was probably, you know, these things don't really take too much like a toll on my mental health or anything like that. But for him, that was definitely a really disturbing.
Yeah. We also have another one that actually is, I believe it's banned from Canada, but I don't know why, but it's out right now. It's currently out, and it's a gentleman that I confronted at like 3:00 in the morning, and he wanted, the decoy was, I believe, to be 5 years old. That one was pretty bad.
That's like the youngest that I've decoyed as, and probably the most shocking. And the worst part about that one was that he was actually caught twice, but we had talked to him with other accounts and other pictures, like kind of just changing the way that I look and stuff. We had talked to him with, I don't even know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different decoys ranging from age 5 to like 9 years old. It's a really disturbing one as well.
Wow. Is it ever surprising how many predators are out there? Like, 'cause it seems like you just have a never-ending supply of these messages coming to you, the different accounts. Like, does it shock you at how much is out there like this?
Yeah, there's so many. And I remember when I first started, like, I didn't know. I thought, like, when I first started, I thought, like, okay, there's only like a few people and probably that's about it. But once I seen how many there were, and it's really, really crazy, right? I mean, the more that we're exposing and reporting them to the police and so on and so forth, it's the better. But it's really, really, really bad and sad how many there are out there. And like, I've now made this like my life. You know what I mean? Doing this, confronting them and finding them, and Soph and I, like, doing this whole operation. I've made this my life, and I don't ever plan to stop because of how many there are out there.
I'd say after doing this for a year, nowadays I feel like I'm always so like vigilant and like aware in public, because like you never know who could be a predator. Like they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, whatever, come from all different backgrounds, whether, they're on the lower end, they maybe don't have, like, we caught a homeless guy, or they could have a really good job. Like they are everywhere and you cannot tell what they look like. So there's a lot of scary people out there online and in person.
I think that's one thing that really hit me about your videos. Like the idea of when you hear of like a pedophile or this child sex predator kind of, well, like the image the average person would have in their head is like this organized pedophilia ring of all these rich people, or this super perverted guy who's at the park, trying to watch kids change or something. Like that's kind of the image the average person would have, I think. Yeah. But when you watch your videos, no, it's this guy's a banker, this guy's a plumber, like they're just this guy's a student at a university. Like it seems just that no one really stands out in your videos as the typical like pervert kind of
stereotypical type of thing. Yes.
It's horrifying, and they're just given you said like they come in all shapes and sizes and different backgrounds. Is there any commonalities you see between the different predators that you're contacting? Like do they have anything in common other than seemingly always being at Walmart?
Oh man, they are all honestly very different, but I guess some similarities that I would say that I see a lot more commonly is when we first start talking, a lot of them just want the girl to have the minor be comfortable with them. And, they always I've gotten this a lot where they're always like, don't worry, like, I'm a good guy, this and that. And like, it's pretty, I don't know. They always just say like, they won't hurt me or this or that. And say they're a good guy, or like a lot of them, for some reason, they always say something like, oh yeah, like, be careful on those sites because there's a lot of creepy guys on there. And I'm like, but you're not creepy, are you? And they're like, oh no, you don't have to worry about me. So like, they always want to make us feel comfortable, and we call that, I'm sure you've heard of it, like grooming. But that's probably the more common thing, is a lot of these guys want to groom the minors, make them feel comfortable.
In your videos, it often comes up the idea of reporting them to the police. What kind of interaction does your group have with OPP or any kind of police force?
So, every single time I've spoken to the police, it's always been a great interaction. I've always been cordial with them. There has been, no other. There has been nothing negative while I'm dealing with them. They're obviously concerned for my safety, but other than that, speaking right now of anything that's if anybody's been charged or whatever, there are certain investigations ongoing, but due to confidentiality, we just gotta kind of keep it quiet. So about like who and whoever they are. So, but there are things going on right now.
Every single catch. After the fact, we do report them to the police. So
you do get a glimpse of your interaction with the police on the video. I don't remember the guy's name, but he has the Blue Jays hat on. Of course, you're in a Walmart parking lot, and you're both kind of Matt and this Predator are you're both of you are quite excited, raising your voice, talking fast, and somebody must have called the police. So you see the police officer show up while you're in the middle of your video, and you know, so you get an idea of, very quickly you explain to the police officer, I'm a member of a group, and it seemed like the police officer was got an idea of what you were doing pretty quick.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. I mean, there's no hiding it. We have a YouTube channel, but and just the way you present it, and the way you be cordial with them. Their job is hard as well, and we all got to get along. We're all trying to achieve the same thing at the end of the day, right?
Another thing is, there are people who are critical of your style of content and what you're doing, basically saying it's vigilantism and it's just putting people in harm's way. How do you respond to the people who don't support what you do and think that you should just leave it to the police?
Well, the thing is that let's put it out. Let's basically say this: anybody can be doing anything. You can have any occupation in the world, and there will at least be one person that's not going to be happy with what you do, and they'll have some kind of reasoning behind it. And you know what? To each their own. Everybody has their own opinion, and that's completely fine. At the end of the day, I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that what I'm doing is a good thing. And I know I'm creating awareness out there, and that doesn't bother me, because at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing is a good thing.
And my thought when I think of it is, like, if you find people who've been affected by child exploitation or sexual assault against, or that kind of crimes against children, it seems like often a complaint is how the police had handled it. And I think that, I don't know what it is, but it seems like police departments have a really hard time policing this kind of crime, especially when it happens on the internet. And I think in lieu of the police being able to properly do what needs to be done to stop this, I think the next best thing is like getting them on YouTube and making them call their wives and their parents. I think that's probably, like, what you do in your videos for a lot of these people, I think is a hell of a lot worse than what would happen if they were caught in a undercover sting.
Enjoy your dad's birthday last weekend? Did you enjoy it? Yeah? Why don't you give him a call?
No.
Give him a call.
No.
Give him a call.
No, I'm not doing that.
Huh? Give him a call right now.
I'm not doing that.
You're not?
No.
Why?
I don't want to do that.
Why?
No.
Why?
No, I'm not doing that.
Why not?
don't want to talk to them. I made a mistake.
I got your car, got your plate number,
Okay.
everything. Bring him up on the phone. What you did was disgusting. And put him on speaker. And let me see that you're talking to your father. Turn the phone around.
Hi, Nathan.
Hey, Dad.
Hey.
So I fucked up.
Yeah.
I was chatting with a minor and now I'm entrapped.
I'm not getting this.
I chatted with someone online that was 13 years old. I fucked up.
You want me to explain it to him?
No. I talked to a 13-year-old girl. I said some sexual things that were inappropriate.
Tell him what else you were doing.
I was on video and this gentleman's telling me to confess to you and say what I did was wrong.
What did you do on the video call with the
I
girl?
showed the girl my cock.
Right. 13-year-old girl.
So,
And you
know she was 13?
No, I knew.
Yeah. Okay. You know, is that the police officer in the background?
No, it's not a police officer. He's just a gentleman that...
are part of an organization that makes sure child predators don't do this kind of things to children.
Okay.
Okay?
That's good.
He's done a lot of bad things. He's asked this little girl if she's a virgin. He's asked her, given her instructions on how to masturbate. He showed himself on video chat. He's done a lot of things, and it's very, very inappropriate. And he's here right now at this at a park to meet this little girl. And instead, he's mating with me. And I think this is probably within my reach. This is probably one of the best ways of punishment that he should serve right now.
No, and maybe this is well. I guess both of you would have good thoughts on this, but I'm wondering for parents of young children, like so many kids now, social media and even video games that we play have like a social media kind of aspect built into the games a lot of times. Like, what advice do you have, given what you do, for parents of children who are online? Like, what can parents do to protect kids?
So now now everybody, by in any means, am I not telling you how to raise your children? So,
I figured this is like a parenting advice segment. I thought we would go to you for that.
Yeah. Like I'm not telling anybody how to raise their children, but my advice is first and foremost, because children are getting their hands on technology a lot younger than it used to be in my time. 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. This is a stage where they're starting to kind of figure out their own little way. You know what I mean? And that is a very rebellious stage at a time in a child's life and a young teenager's life. So parents, first and foremost, like you would really have to obviously sit down with them and have that very sincere, deep conversation with them about what's happening out there. I said in my last two videos at the very end, parents, guardians, please, keep an eye on all your children's social media as much as you can. They may get upset with you, but honestly, it's for their benefit and for your benefit, and it saves a lot of hassle in the long run, and it creates awareness all around.
Yeah, I would agree with Matt on that. Just have that talk. Also, just try to have a good relationship with your child so that you can comfortably talk to them about this kind of stuff, because it is happening and it's not good stuff.
Yes. You said it, so honestly, creating that relationship and that bond with your child is major in that part of a child's life.
Yeah, no, that only makes sense. Anyway, this has been amazing. It's what you do is nuts, Matt. I think you're a complete lunatic to do what you do, but I always say, like, I love the internet, and I say that because there's just so much crazy stuff out there, and your videos. It's taking a really dark topic that I hate to even think that it exists, but not only are you exposing it, you're like turning the whole thing on its head and basically making it this kind of absurd TV show with a really powerful message that's also a social cause. So it's you have a whole lot of supporters, and people really appreciate
No, we thank you. We thank you, and thank you to all of the viewers and all of our supporters. We love and appreciate you so much. Thank you. And Jordan, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure of you having us. Thank you.
Now, love what they do or hate it, I think there is no question that the methods the Toronto Predator Poachers use help make the children in and around Toronto a little bit safer online. Not only does this give predators something more to fear than that long, clumsy arm of the law, these popular videos also serve as a very effective reminder to the people out there that there are predators among them, tons of them. And with that, I'm going to begin wrapping up this episode of Nighttime. But first, I'm going to end with thanks. A huge thank you for Matt and Soph for doing what you do and for taking time out of predator poaching to share your story with us. Also, a big thanks to Monty Data and Fortnite Beats, who contributed the music for this episode. And lastly, but most importantly, I have a massive thank you to everyone listening to Nighttime. Without your interest and your support, Nighttime would be as pointless as it would be impossible. But with that said, keeping the show alive is and has always been an uphill battle. So if you enjoy what I'm doing here on the show, please help me keep the show alive by subscribing to the premium feed. For about the price of a cup of coffee, you can help fund the creation of future episodes that way. And not only does the premium feed make the show possible, it'll give you more of each topic than you're going to find on the free feed, as I add exclusive content there weekly. So please keep the show alive and subscribe to the premium feed at patreon.com/nighttimepodcast. And with that said, let me thank the newest supporters of the show: Melissa, Shauna, Cheryl, Andrew, Adrian, Miss Hancock, Melanie, and Pamela. Thank you all for your generous support. And for anyone else who'd like to support the show but can't help financially, you can give me a big hand by simply sharing the episodes on social media and telling your friends what we're doing here. And if you have any story ideas or if you want to give feedback on the show, I can be reached at nighttimepodcast.com/contact. Additionally, if you would like to give your thoughts on this episode, you can send me a voice memo using that same link, nighttimepodcast.com/contact, and I'll air your comments or answer any questions you have on the next Nightcap post-show episode. You can also find me on social media. I use Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'm live on YouTube most Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday nights at 9 Eastern Time. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and let's hope that a lot of things change in this world in 2021, including the amount of active child sex predators.
The Nighttime Podcast is written, hosted, and produced by Jordan Bonaparte. Copyright Jordan Bonaparte.